Why are new truck buyers deciding not to buy new trucks? Well, this is actually a reason for it right here. So instead of me going out to buy a brand new truck, I want to share with you what a lot of buyers are deciding to actually do instead. Instead of going out and spending that $80,000 or $90,000, you know, here's an example of a little pickup truck. Well, it's a half ton. It's basically the equivalent of this would probably be in that $60,000 range. Basically, this is a truck that I've been driving and driving and driving, and it has about 100,000 miles on it, but I'm going to continue driving it. What we have is a Ram, and this is an SLT. So it's not fancy, but it definitely works. I mean, you've got nice chrome wheels on here, you've got the Nerf bars, and of course, you know, the beefy handles where you don't have all that central locking business to brake. This is a 1500, as you see, it's a half ton. Now it's the older style, but I'll be honest, with this type of engine in there, I got the 4.7, and let me just show you real quick before I start this up. This is the reason why people are not buying these new trucks. I mean, I'm just going to open this, very simple, right there. And then I'll give you a quick look at the engine compartment right here. And here we have a very, very simple vehicle to work on. Everything's very accessible. Yeah, it's a little dirty, it's a little oily. You know, coolant's all topped up. Everything's good, but it's accessible. It's easy for me to fix. Like, I can literally do the air box, air filter easily. Fluids are all easy to access. Battery access is easy. Look at the space. You can almost crawl in here. And it's this reason I have the 4.7 here, which isn't their most reliable unit by any means, but it works. Tows the boat, tows the trailers. Let's go in and take a look. I'm going to just grab the keys here real quick. And then I want to show you, let's go for a little ride, and I'll explain more as to why people aren't buying these expensive trucks. These are options like this. Here, let's take a look. All right, let's just go in here, climb on in, close the door. Look, I mean, let's give you a quick tour. First of all, let's put this in. See, it's running good right there. So what we actually have is a very simplistic truck here. Yes, you have power seats. You know, I got a power seat here. I can move that, you know, power seats. I got power windows, locks. I mean, you look across, you have old CD player, but that's okay. Everything works, AC, everything is functional. You have the same space there at the back. You have lots of room. I've got seating for 3. But what I like about this here is I can flip this up and I basically have seating for 3 across the front. But honestly, it's these older trucks why people are deciding not to buy this new stuff anymore. I mean, let's face it, to buy a new truck, you know, for 80, 90 grand is just, it's cost prohibitive, if we're being honest. And you know what? Here, let's just throw this in gear. Okay, fairly simple. We have a little tow haul, no crazy electronics. You know what? Everything's pretty standard. Yes, I have a check engine light. I just checked it. I know what that is. That's just one of those emissions. We'll get to that, but that's a minor, and that's the thing. It's easy to fix. Let's go. Throw it in drive. And you know what the thing is with these vehicles is why people are not buying these expensive $80,000 trucks is these older ones are just easy to fix. And that's a big part of this. Now, the economics is a big part, and I've talked about this in other videos where even if something went, like you hear the engine, listen. Sounds good, got good power, transmission shifts fine. I mean, here's me knocking on wood, but here's the thing. The way I see this is if something ever let go on this thing, you know, let's say hypothetically, and it can, and it might at one point, you know, if the engine blows or transmission ever goes on something like this, it's not the end of the world. I mean, it's not good, nobody wants that, but you throw a $7,000 engine at it, maybe the transmission goes, you throw another $5 grand at that. You know, you've got a dozen thousands of dollars in there, you know, $10,000, $12,000 to completely retrofit your drivetrain on this. You get a crate engine, new transmission from Dodge, Ram. You might have to wait. What I am finding, the only downside with some of these older trucks is now a lot of the parts, when you go to look for a part, you know, you go down to the parts store, is that a lot of these parts aren't stocked anymore. And I think that's very intentional. They're making it difficult. They don't want you as the DIYer, you know, getting your hands on parts. But it feels like a lot of these dealers don't necessarily want people DIYing. They want to sell you the next new truck, right? And then if it becomes kind of annoying to constantly have to have parts ordered in. You got to wait a week for a part, which coincidentally I had a while back. I had to get an O2 sensor, and I had to go aftermarket because they couldn't even get one in reasonable time. It was like ship across the globe. I think they had to fly it over the global space 3 times over before they landed it in our city. So it just feels to me like a lot of parts now are becoming a little bit harder to get, or they're just creating that little bit of a problem. They're creating a hurdle for buyers like myself, or truck owners, car owners. So they're not making it as easy to service, but I mean, the aftermarket's full of vehicles like this, or parts for vehicles like this. You got auto wreckers everywhere, so I'm not worried about it. And it is a Dodge, let's face it, these parts are built by the millions and billions of parts. So at some level, you'll be able to find parts for these things. And that's why, you know, you can get your own parts, you can do a lot of your own work. And you know what, yeah, even with a check engine light, which isn't ideal, the fact is, it doesn't throw it in limp mode. It doesn't catastrophically do something that you didn't expect. It just keeps driving. Now, I would never suggest that. I mean, always check into it, understand what the check engine light's about, and definitely want to deal with that sooner than later. But the basic economics of truck ownership are one in which it's a utility vehicle, first and foremost. And a lot of people, in my mind, have used trucks or sort of started to see trucks more as bragging rights. Hey, I've got the latest Lariat, I've got the latest, I've got a Denali, I've got this or that. And that's, I mean, they're nice, don't get me wrong. I'd much rather have a nice truck like that, for sure. But at the end of the day, it's not worth the money in my mind, unless prices become a little more reasonable. Now, I have been looking, and I'm not pure, you know, I'm gonna drive an old rusty truck around till the second coming. I believe that at some level, you know, it's time to level up a little bit, but it's gotta make sense. The finances have to make sense, the price of these vehicles have to make sense. And as long as prices are really high like this, until I see a little bit more incentives, I'm probably gonna be more motivated just to keep driving this old unit. I mean, everything's simple, basic dashboard, lots of plastic. Yeah, it's like a Tupperware container, but you can wipe it off, bang it around, you don't worry about it, and it's tough, and it's not gonna fail on you. So it is truly what a truck was meant to be. Leather interior, no, I don't have a sunroof up there either, but everything's simple, and I can fix most of it. So that's why a lot of people are not buying these brand new expensive pickup trucks, is because these older ones are available. People are much more willing to go look at an older Chevy or an older Ram or an older Ford that might have, 120,000 miles on it, but if it's clean and it runs well, hey, that fits the bill. If you can pick that truck up for $15,000, it seems like a good buy. And a lot of people are starting to make that choice, make that selection. So this isn't here to talk you down from buying a new vehicle, because I think at some level I'll probably buy a new one too. But this is just merely to say these are the choices people are making with the current economic climate, high cost of borrowing, the overpriced vehicles, and the fact that until these prices come down, people are going to continue making these choices. Look for auctions, cheap used vehicles, and as long as they run well, people are going to just make the choice to buy a truck like this. So I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below, but at the end of the day, you definitely want to check out that video. What's going on here currently with GM in the market? It's absolutely gone ballistic. It is serious becoming a crisis. They're not selling trucks. Hope to see each and every one in the next one. See you real soon. Bye-bye.